Session, we've been able to see how we can structure our web page in the standard way, starting from the head, the body, and all of that, so at least we have an idea of how we can structure everything, control everything, manipulate everything. So we're going to, in this session, we're going to look at the CSS. We're going to be introduced to the CSS, which basically stands for styling. Styling the content, styling the components, styling every element. But before we dive in, I like to modify or maybe customize my environment to make it look beautiful and more interesting. Make everything look nice. So I'm just going to change my the style of my tags, and all the icons here. So we can do that with VS Code thanks to the extension. So let's look for theme. Say theme. Theme. I don't know if it's this atom one dark. Let's see. Let me install this and see. Okay. Yes, this is it. Yes, definitely this is it. So let's see. Let's set it. I think it's set, so we can, yeah. So you can see that our tags are more beautiful. Everything is looking nice. Instead of that boring color. Okay. So feel free. There are a lot of themes you can play with, but this is my favorite. So set these guys up, and then let's get going to the fun part. So we're just going to look at the CSS part. So for the rest of this sessions and future sessions, we're just going to do something real quick. We're going to take this to increase productivity. We're going to just toggle it side by side. Where is it? Yeah, I think this is it. No, not this guy. So basically what we want to do is just bring this guy on one side. Then we will open our browser in the other side, which is let me see. Okay, yeah, so this is our index file. We want to open it. This is our content. So we want to bring it here, and then we want to bring our yes, so that whatever we do, we will be seeing it live and not switching between between windows. That's boring. This will increase our productivity. So this is what we have currently. So there are three different ways of implementing styles, inline styling, internal style sheet, and external style sheet. Okay, so inline styling is when you style your tag directly in the browser. Like for example, this is our H1. Let's do H2. Let's do H2 real quick. My H2 header. Let's just call it whatever. Save it and refresh. Yep, you see we're getting there faster. So all right. So let's say we want to style this. So basically, it's just black. I want to style it. Let's give it a style. So if you want to style it, so we're starting with the first method, which is inline styling. Okay, so to do an inline styling, you come to the opening tag of every element of the element you want to style. Just see where my cursor is. The opening tag. Then after the tag name, give a space, and then you write style. Okay, so VS Code to complete this. So style, you click on the style. Okay, so now you will see different styles. You see VS Code, so you don't get this normally, but VS Code will suggest the styles. So these are all styles that you can add to this particular elements or this tag you want to style. Okay, let's go with the color first. Okay, let's say color. When I click on color, you see that different colors VS Code is giving me. Okay, So let's go with brown red. Okay, let's go with brown red. So basically, you might not have to if you're not using VS Code, you will have to type this. Okay, so let's just go over the syntax. So you go to the opening head, type style equals to, you open two quotes, then the style we want to access, the style property we want to change is the color. Like as you can see, there are different many other property. We have the color, margin, padding, and all that. Okay, so this is the color. So after the color, you leave a colon, then you type the color, like the name of the color. So there are different ways. You can either type the name of the color or the hexadecimal value of the color. Okay, so now we want to change this content where it says this is the content. I want to change it to brown and see what happens. Just want to save it. Nothing serious. So save. Yeah, save it. So if we refresh now, see that this is red. Okay. If you can't see it, let's use blue. Okay, let's just use blue so you can see it. Okay, blue. Okay. Okay. So saved it. So refresh. See the content is blue now. Okay. So we've added style to this. Notice that we've added style to this and we've not added style to this. Okay. So this is just one property of the styles. So we have set our color to blue now, and let's say we want to add more properties, like we want to edit it more, so you separate each CSS property with a semicolon, which is this, and then you want to add more. Let's say let's add margin. Okay, so there are different margins. You can add margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right. Okay, so let's say we want to add margin left because this content is very close to the left edge of our screen. Let's push it inside a bit. Okay, let's want to add margin left. Okay, so there are different values, there are different units of margins of basically unit of value that you can put. So let's use pixels. Okay, we can say, let me show you percentage first. Okay, so you can say, let's say we want to add margin left, let's say 10%, or let's say 20%, so it will be very visible. Let's say 20%. So what we are saying is that the whole, let's say if from here to here is 100%, okay, so we are saying that push this guy 20%, like give it a 20% margin. So let me just save it so you can see what happens. If I save it and refresh, you see that we have pushed this guy, like it has a margin from here to here. This is 20% that we actually wanted. So we can, let's say 10%, can change it to 10% and save. Why does this guy keep coming up? I just want to save. So refresh, you see it's back to 10%. So this is margin. Okay, so there are a lot of many other things that we can do. Okay, so let's say if let's say we want this to be, let's say you want it to be a pointer cursor. When I hover on it, okay, when I hover on it, it should be a pointer instead of a text. So there's another CSS property called okay, let me just break this guy so you can see it. Let me break it so you can see all the CSS values. Or let me just close this. Yeah, so you can see my screen. So let's say cursor. So I want to add another property inside. Don't forget, all the properties is inside these two quotes. So let's say cursor. You can see VS Code autocorrect. So cursor is pointer. So what this means is that I want, when I hover my mouse here, I want to see a finger, a finger kind of cursor. This thing will change to a finger, like a pointer kind of. So if I save, let me try save it, and I refresh, you see it's not a link, but I just told it to change it to a finger whenever I hover. You see, so it's now a palm kind of a hand. So this is inline styling. So as you can see, we have applied styling like directly on the elements, so which is inline styling. Then the other method of styling, like I said, we have three. We have inline, which is this we just did inline. Everything is poured directly inside the opening tag. That's inline styling. Okay. So the other one is internal style sheet. Okay. So to do internal style sheet, you come to the header right here, okay, and within the header tag, right, you create you create a tag with style, okay. The name of the tag is style, okay, style. So you close it. If VS Code auto automatically close it, okay. So this is in internal style that I want to do. Now we want to write the styles inside these styles and this thing. We don't want the styles to be here, okay. Then what we need to do, we just see what we'll do. So to create this style, okay, let's say we want our h1 to have all these properties. So we can just target this element, okay. We'll just say h1, okay. I want to show you different ways you can target an element. You can either target the element itself or you can give it a class name. Let's say you want to target h1, okay. So let's say h1, and you open a curly bracket, okay. Then we're saying that okay, let's say let's remove the style so you don't it's very clear. Let's remove this style and save, okay. So you can see that we are no longer applying this style, so you can see everything is back to basic, okay. So now I want to target this h1 element. I want to say, let's give it color. You can see we're now still accessing that same CSS element. Let's say color is blue, okay. So if we save now, let's save and refresh. You see that our color is back to blue, okay. Then let's say you want to apply margin left 20%, like we did earlier, 20%. Yes. So if we save, our margin is applied. So you can see that our code is clean, then our CSS is still being applied, okay. And what else? Let's say font size. Let's increase the font size. Let's say font size, okay. So there are a lot of CSS properties you can play with. Font size, let's say let's specify the percentage. Let's say 30 pixels. So pixels stands for px. So let's save it now. You see that if we refresh, it gets smaller, okay. Let's see 10 so you can see it better. Okay, you see how our h1 becomes very small because we specify the pixels. Okay, so let's refresh. Let's bring it back. Yeah, then our pointer would be cursor. Pointer. Oh, cursor will be pointer. Yeah. Okay, so let's save. So you see. So if I hover, now it's a pointer. Now you can immediately see that this looks cleaner than the inline. At least it's more organized. It's more organized than writing the styles directly to make your code look very cumbersome. But if you write it in a style sheet, you can easily manage your style sheet. But there's a problem to okay. But before we get there, so this is targeting an element. The issue with targeting an element is that every other h1 I'm going to write in this my web page must carry this style, okay. So let me do another h1. Let me do another h1. It's a second element, okay. This is second element. Let's refresh. So you see that our second element is also blue, and it basically is inheriting every style that we have here. But what if we don't want this second element to carry this? That's where classes come into play, okay. Let's say we want to apply these styles now, all these styles just for this particular h1. So let's clear it up. Let's delete it and save it so you see that the styles are empty. Okay, so we are back to default. So to use class, we'll use this is how to create a class. So you use dots, okay. Then you give it a name, any name you want. Let's say my custom name. Let's say my name, okay. Well, let's give it my code spot. let's style this my code spot, okay. and then you open a curly bracket, open and close. Okay, now let's say let's give it that style or that style. Our color was blue, right? Then our cursor is a pointer here. Then we had margin 20% left, margin left 20%. Yeah, that's correct. So this is our class now. We have defined a class. Okay. Name of the class is my code spot. Again, you can name it whatever you want, just so you can understand your class. So if I save it now, if I refresh, you see that it's still not taking, none of these elements are taking these CSS properties. They're not adjusting to the CSS. Then for you to, tie it so that it can take, you just go to the particular element you want. Let's say you want to target this H1 at the top. Let's say this H1 at the top. Okay. Then all you have to do is write a class. Okay. You write class. Okay, is equal to. Then the class name is my code spot. Okay. So let's say my code spot. Okay, this is the class name. So what you are basically saying is that you want this H1 element to carry this class name, which inherits all the CSS properties. Okay, so let me see so you see what happens. You see that this H1 has carried all these classes, these properties, the 20% blue, whatever. So only this H1 has carried it, and this one has not carried it. It's because I have not applied this my code spot style to it. Okay, that's why only this element is carrying it. Let me create another class. Okay, let's say second, let's call it second class. You can call it whatever you want. Second class. Okay, open second class. Let's give it color. Let's give it red. Let's give it brown. Let's give it brown. Let's see margin. Let's see margin top. Let's say 30%. Okay, then also let's just leave it like that. So then we have created a second class now. You can name it whatever you want. Now I want to apply the second class to this particular element. Okay, so you go to this element, this second H1. You type class after the listing, after the opening opening tag. So you type name of the second class is name of the class you want to apply is the second class. Okay, so once I save it, let me just save and refresh so you can see. So you can see that it's applying because I told it to move margin top. This is margin left, so margin top now is, I told it to go below 30%. Okay, and then the color I gave it is brown. So you can see that our CSS styles are being applied. So you can see that you can decide to target every component, and then you can decide to target a specific component. And I can choose to give the bottom one my code spot style as well. Okay, let's see my code spot. Okay, if I give this bottom one my code spot style and refresh, let me refresh. So you see, it's taken to my code spot style. Okay, so this is how you do internal style sheets. Okay. Then let's look at the external style sheet. So basically the external style sheet, we are just saying that we want to remove the style to like a different to a different file. Okay, so to create an external style sheet, you just create a new file. Okay, we are going to inside the folder, that's inside the HTML folder. We'll create a new file. Let's call it my code spot style .css. Okay, you have to call it .css, which means it is style sheet. If you don't give it .css extension, this name doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want, but this extension has to be .css. Okay, as for CSS styling, then let's give it .css. Yep. Okay. Now what we can do is that we can just copy all our CSS codes. Just copy our CSS code and bring it inside this our CSS file. Okay, we didn't do anything special. We are just copying our CSS codes, putting it in an external CSS file. Okay, Then we now want to, what we want to do is link it to this, because this is a separate file now. This is a file and this is a file. Okay, so let me clean so you can see. So if I save it, you see that all the styles are gone. There's no style at all. So to link this file inside this HTML file so that I can have access to those classes, what I will do is I just come to the heading, you come to the header tag. Okay, then inside the header tag, you just open a tag, call it link, just so we call this other link for favicon. So link, well, we're trying to tell it which type of file we're trying to link. Okay, so the type of file is, you write style sheet. Okay, we're telling it this is style sheet. As you can see, this is an icon, so we're telling it's an icon. Okay, now I want to type href. Okay, href. We're trying to tell it the location. So since it's in the same folder, okay, we don't need to go any level. Okay, we'll just write my code spot. See, it has already detected it. Okay, then you close the tag. Okay, let me just explain what happened. Initially, this style were inside the same file and that of the HTML. Okay, now we separated the styles and we've now linked it using this link tag here. So let me just save it so you can see. If I refresh now, you can see that these styles have been applied. Even if we didn't apply any CSS, all we need is just link it to another CSS file. Okay, now if I let me remove this class name so you can see that it's actually linked. It's not just something else. If I save it, okay, so let me change the class name here and make it let me call it external class. Okay, external class. Okay, let me save it. So let me come here, let me give it a name of, just so you see that it's actually reading from this external file. I call it class external dash class. Okay, I save and refresh. Yep, voila. Now we've gone through the three basic methods, which is the inline styling, the internal style sheets, and the external style sheet. Now, as you can see, I think the best approach, the best practice as a developer, as a professional developer that you're going to be, the best way is to use an external style sheet. That way, you're managing all your HTML doc type in one file, and then you're managing all your styles in another file. Okay, and you're going to be probably working with a team of professional developers just like yourself. Okay, and this is the best practice. Okay, now encoding their best practices, that's like the best way of doing things. That you do it that way, we consider it professional. So external style is one of the best practices, and apart from it, the reason why is the best practice is readability, manageability, and all that stuff. Is very, very efficient. Okay, so we've been able to cover this in this session. The next session, we're going to create a very, very exciting interface, with all the styling skills that we've acquired. Then I think it's very important to note that you can actually play with, like you can see, as you can see, there are a lot of styles that is available in this styling. So we'll just cover the basics, because if I'm to cover all of them, with this session will be like we'll be going to hours. So go to W3 and W3 schools. Okay, you go to W3 schools, and then you would see a lot of CSS this thing. So you can see the CSS, JavaScript, whatever. So if you go to CSS, you will see a lot of styles that you can play around with. Okay, let me just go to the styles. You see syntax, whatever, margins. We did colors, we did margins. Yes, I think, yeah, we did. Yeah, so these are so many CSS styles you can play with. Okay, so w3schools.com /CSS for VSP. So that's it. So I will see you in the next session where we'll be creating a very beautiful user interface.